Hi there, Dylan Evans again from Simple Salt, and today we're talking about one of the most important aspects of security for small and medium businesses, protecting your customer secrets. Many of you, like law firms and accounting firms especially, have to share files with your customers. They have to upload files or get files down, maybe for contract reviews, maybe they're W-2s. You need to keep them secret. There is an element of responsibility in a platform like this for both you and your customer. You and your vendor have to provide the platform, and your customer has to use it appropriately, setting a decent password or not sharing their password with malicious parties. However, you're not off the hook quite that easily. Even if your customer is unwise and chooses inappropriate or insecure options, they're still going to be mad if their password is cracked on your platform and their secrets are stolen. You can still help them, and it doesn't have to cost a lot or be difficult. For almost everyone, a cloud-based solution is the cheapest, most resilient, most secure option. None of the options I've seen are perfect, but we'll walk through some of the most resilient, best run, and secure options and how to use them easily. We're going to start with Office 365 and its built-in file sharing capability because it's going to be the cheapest and most secure for most businesses. Are you ready? Let's get started. What I'm going to show you today is available on all Office 365 plans. This includes the cheapest one that's available for $5 per person per month, or free if you're a nonprofit. We're going to start by creating a Sharepoint site. You could also do this with a OneDrive, but because most businesses will need to collaborate between their customers and a group of employees, such as maybe you have multiple paralegals working on someone's case, or you just want to have resiliency in case one of your staff is out of the office. Sharepoint is the better choice because it's more amenable to providing access to a group or a team. We're going to start by creating a site. We're going to use a team site in order to provide that collaboration experience. Call it something appropriate for the use case. Let's say customer collaboration. We're going to leave this like this. There's really no downside to leaving it private for this kind of use case. You can add the people you want to use this at this stage. I'm not going to do that because this is a demo. Blah, blah, blah. And you're going to start by creating, go away. You're going to start by creating a library because a library is the high availability feature of a Sharepoint site that lets you store a lot of files in it. You can call it whatever you want, doesn't really matter. All right, so all your files will show up here, and what I suggest is creating folders, one for each customer that you're going to be working with. You can do that here, just like that. And let's say maybe let's make up a name for my business. I am Don Johnson Legal Services. Okay, and one of my customers is Don Quixote. And he's getting sued, and so we're going to help him out. He needs to provide some files to me, and then I'm going to provide him some files in return. And so we can create this folder for Don, and we're going to share it with him. And we're going to share it in a couple ways. You can choose to allow editing, allow Don to change the files in there. All right, let's say don.quixote@donquixote.com. And you're going to send him an email. Yes, we know he is outside. Good point, Microsoft. And then we're going to send it to him. I'm not really going to do this because I have no idea who this person is. And you can write a little message. Don will get an email saying, Don Johnson has shared a folder with you and you can go get it here. And he'll be able to log in and create a guest account in your SharePoint. You can have as many guest accounts as you want. When he clicks the link to accept his invitation to collaborate in this folder, Microsoft will request that he create a password. He'll be a user that you can manage. So you can revoke his access or delete him if you stop doing business with him. Instead of sending an invite with a guest account, you can also send a link. And you can disable that. I've disabled that on my account, but in effect, this gives anyone with the link opportunity to access this file. Sending a link that doesn't require you to log in to view or access the data does not meet most standards of care for a file share like this, so I don't recommend it for any meaningful secrets. It's decent for collaboration if there's not meaningful secrets, like some kind of marketing copy that you're working on. You're just finagling the wording or the formats with your brand advisor for a legal firm or an accounting firm or other client with whom you're exchanging secrets. I strongly suggest you do not use that style of link. You can then add other folders for other people, and from within each, you can add files, and they, once they log in and using their password, can upload or download files as they see fit as well. There are integrations that are not very expensive to create with other software you have, like case management software. There are integrations you can create pretty cheaply with other software or just automatic workflows that can create and assign access automatically. That's outside the scope of security, but I just want you to know that it exists. One of the benefits of a system like this is resilience. In a SharePoint site, you can change the settings. You can reduce the risk of bad things happening to your files. In particular, you can avoid them being deleted or messed up. This is a very powerful feature. You get versions for free, and this comes automatically. You can see any file that is uploaded or stored in SharePoint will get 500 versions automatically, and you can increase this limit if you want, if there are frequent updates and you want to capture all of them. Let's now look at some of the administrative settings for SharePoint, and I'll show you how you can prevent misconfiguration for these files. I also suggest that you change the permissions on the SharePoint site to only let a privileged account make these sorts of backend changes. You can do that within the permissions. There's an owner group that's created for every SharePoint site. That is the group that can change the version control and can delete things from the recycling bin. You would want your normal staff people that are going to be accessing these files and collaborating with your customers to be part of the members group. Define who should be in these members by setting it at the site level. Select the members and add people within your organization to this members group. Let's now look at the administrative settings for your entire organization to enforce who can do what within SharePoint. You will want to check this sharing section where you can see here what rights people have to share outside your organization. Usually everyone in Microsoft's vision, everyone at your organization can create their own SharePoint sites, and you can set, and they will be owners of their sites. This means that if you have this set for your site for collaboration, it also means that they can also extend access through their SharePoint sites out to external people. As you can see here, there is a link about how to set access for each individual site. Maybe you want to restrict external access for everybody except the one external access site that you created. Most of these settings are more appropriate for large organizations than small ones. I will highlight this particular item. Depending on your use and how long-term your clients are, your collaboration is, you might want to set this. For some cases, if you're an accounting firm and you've got ongoing bookkeeping that you provide and they're always uploading receipts, maybe you don't want this. For others, maybe you're doing contract review, maybe you're doing an M&A on a limited basis project. You know that the project is going to expire in less than 4 months, and so you can set this, if you do a lot of those, you can set this to a reasonable number, like 180 days or something. You can also create multiple sites for different kinds of access, for different kinds of projects, and set some of these specifically by site. This can give you additional assurance that the access that you've provided isn't getting reshared to different accounts, because the verification code will only permit the person who has control of the email to log in again unless they go reshare it. This can help increase the friction of people who are lazy about security from doing unwise things in your environment. This is also interesting. Guests can invite other guests if you let them. So you may allow one person at a company access to their folder, and then they in turn can invite other people from their company into that folder as well. This also provides you some assurance. If you have a large enough organization that you want to restrict access, you can set this and then define what group and then put people in the group. That can really help make this tighter and easier to manage. This one is for big businesses. I'm going to also show you some of these access control policies allow granular access to SharePoint for both your employees and your guest accounts. Almost all of them are intended for large businesses, and you can really paint yourself into a corner with these. I do not recommend worrying about specific IP addresses. This is a pretty old way of doing things. It can get you into trouble. There are some strong advantages to using SharePoint as your standard file collaboration platform. First, you're probably already using it. Many organizations use Office 365 for their email anyway. Second, it mandates that guest account. One excellent benefit is that if you send an invitation using Office 365, it will connect kind of behind the scenes and automatically, so that they don't have to create a password just for yours. It'll reuse password so that they don't have to log in to get to your files that you've shared to them. That can be huge because that's one fewer password that they have to remember. And the password they choose for your site will never be as strong as the password they choose for their own important things. You're going to help both them and you. Now, some of the disadvantages is one of the disadvantages is that you do not have the option of letting people log in with another non-Microsoft identity provider. If they have a G Suite, you cannot let them log in with their Google account to see your collaboration site that you've set up for them. This is not ideal. I'm not sure why Microsoft chose to do this, but they've spent significant effort to make sure this cannot happen. It could be a form of vendor lock-in. I really don't know, but it's unfortunate. One of the other benefits is the resiliency and the performance. Along with Google, Microsoft runs one of the most resilient data centers and managed services that you can buy. For $5 a month, you get a huge amount of storage. This is a great deal for solo practitioners or small offices. If you have 5 people, That's $25 a month for an immense amount of storage, millions of files. You can serve a lot of people with a solution like this, especially when you consider some of the built-in automation you also get for free. Microsoft, along with Google, is also one of the best at protecting you from the scammers and other internet criminals who are trying to break in. They can see who's trying to attack, and they are always watching and stopping those attacks as they hit the Microsoft systems. So you benefit from that breadth of service and the telemetry and the data that they get about what the criminals are up to right now. Next week, we'll talk about the file sharing and collaboration options in G Suite, how to achieve this same sort of function using Google's collaboration platform. If you have any questions or like what you saw today, please leave a comment below or chat me up. This is Dylan Evans, and we'll see you next week.
Pero hay su dificultad en cuanto a su ejecución.